All right, I am live. Welcome to my channel, Inviting Possibilities. My name is Rochelle, and I am here to do a reading for fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Sun, moon, rising, and I'll say North Node too. I should start saying that. But yeah, ultimately, anybody who comes across this, it's my intention that there's something in here for everyone, and maybe the title brought you. But for whatever reason, my readings are timeless, and so you're meant to hear this now. I have chosen 3 cards from Wisdom of the Oracle, and I will be clarifying with some other decks. And I've also let the universe choose a song, and the title of your song is Something to Believe in. And I think this has to do with believing in yourself, believing in the understanding or the concept that you do have some kind of higher power at play in your life, helping you to move in the direction you need to go. But let's dive in. Okay, so your first card is Milk and Honey in the protection position, and this is speaking about overindulging, that you're feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling uneasy in your life, and rather than facing it and dealing with it, you are moving towards things that give you temporary relief, the immediate gratifications that might feel good in the moment, but ultimately leave you feeling worse later on. And this is because you have a new path. Excuse me. You have a new path to go on. You're at a fork in the road. You're leaving something behind. It's time to move in a different direction, potentially. But you can't do that until you tie up any loose ends from the old situation that you're in the process of completing. This is being in that place of like working on it, but you're not quite there. You're not completely, it's not completely over. There are still loose ends. And I think what's happening is that maybe you don't want this situation to end. You don't want it to close out. You're hanging on to it for some reason. It's so often it's very easy for us to hang on to the things that at one time brought us happiness, pleasure, joy, gratification. And when those cycles close out, when they leave our life, there's a sense of of course, there's grief. There's wanting to hang on to it because we're still attached. It did bring us joy at one time. And instead of dealing with it and understanding that there's a reason that it's supposed to leave your life, because there is something new that you're supposed to move towards, there's this, you're kind of delaying the inevitable through not dealing, through trying to buffer the feelings, cover up the grief, all the stuff that you're feeling. So let's clarify. And something to believe in. I think that it's about getting back. You need to get back to yourself. You've been spending a lot of time ignoring yourself, ignoring your intuition, ignoring what you know you need to do, which is to tie up some loose ends. We have the Nine of Fire. Feeling cautious, feeling uncertain. Really where is it? In this deck, it's definitely caution and uncertainty. I was just going to look in my notes. This can also be feeling defensive, feeling sad, loss. Yeah. Losing something in your life that was important to you. Okay, so then let's see what else. What's next? The Five of Fire. Fives are often about tension and conflict. In this deck, it talks about honoring differences. That when there's drama, when there's conflict, it happens because we're butting heads. We're resisting what is. Somebody is bringing something to the table that we're not cool with. And this is getting to this place where we're like, okay, I see. It's sort of that agreeing to disagree kind of thing, where you recognize that you're not meant to be on the same page with everybody, that there's a reason that we're all different. We all have something different to bring to the table. We all have different perspectives, and that there's a truth within each one of us. And to honor that, even if it's not your truth, that it's recognizing and allowing another person to have their truth. And this kind of feeling like this has to do with what you're leaving behind. That in order to release the past, tie up these loose ends, you need to get to this place of honoring the differences rather than fighting against them. That's going to be what helps set you on this new path. And Four of Earth. Yeah, I mean, this card, it's about building on a solid foundation. Fours typically are about stability and structure. But this card sometimes in some decks can speak to being possessive, hanging on very tightly, being the miser, not letting something go. Feeling ownership over something. And this is probably why you are not tying up the loose ends, because you're like, this is mine and I don't want to let it go. And so I'm going to ignore the needing to tie up these loose ends and instead focus on the immediate gratification. Like, what can I do to avoid this? And just, feel good in the moment. Which isn't working so well. Because it's leaving you in this place of uncertainty, of caution, feeling the loss. You have to let this go. And then we have the Eight of Wands. Lots of fire here. Yeah, it's quite appropriate for fire signs. What is it? Swift decisions. Seeing the bigger picture. Being able to gain the clarity from kind of rising above, getting out of being stuck in your head, or even like out of not dealing at all, which is, I guess, a form of being stuck in your head. You're just like, every time I think about this thing, it makes me feel bad. So I'm just going to do something to cover it up, to ignore it. And this is you kind of rising above and really looking at, assessing what's going on in the situation, what needs to happen. In some decks, this can be about passionate communication. taking action. It's about messages. And this could be a part of the tying up of loose ends, that you need to communicate with someone once and for all and close this out. Because you have something new coming in. This has to do with this fork in the road that you're at, this new path. That tying something up is going to lead you to new people, new circumstances, new fresh energy, a new beginning in some way. Make those swift decisions so that you can get to the thing that actually feels good, where you don't feel like you have to cover up uncomfortable feelings because you're just feeling good. Five of Pentacles, budget lessons. This is having gone through potentially financial loss, some kind of, there's so many things with this card. I mean, this card says budget lessons. So it could be that the situation that you are leaving, it could be about making poor choices financially. Maybe you're overspending. Maybe that where you're leaving, if you're leaving a person, for example, that you were with, maybe the two of you had financial difficulties. That there was some kind of lesson, that, somehow there was a loss. This can be about challenges, rejection, worry, insecurity, hardships. Yeah. But in this deck, it talks about, it's about learning the lessons and coming out of that, moving towards something new where you're making better choices, better decisions. Learning how to care for yourself in a new way. Learning how to think about the bigger picture, not just, how you feel in this moment, but thinking about, well, what's going to help me feel good tomorrow, next week, a month from now? Like you're keeping your future self in mind as you make decisions, as you do things, because you are going to get there. And that person, that future self, is going to have to deal with the consequences of whatever you're doing now. So you might as well start working on setting yourself up. And once you get there, you'll be like, thanks, me. Thanks for making those right decisions, because now I'm doing really good. I'm learning my lessons. I'm feeling happy. New things are coming in. So, okay. Let's go with wisdom of Avalon. What do we need to know? The cat, independence, and setting healthy boundaries. I think in whatever you're leaving behind in the past, this thing that you're needing to finish up, there was some amount of not setting healthy boundaries. Maybe there was codependence with another person. This is taking ownership, taking back your power, standing in your knowing of what's truly good for you. Yeah. Yeah, when you set healthy boundaries, you're putting yourself first. It's that idea of putting on, on an airplane, putting on the mask before you help others. Letting go. Letting go of the past, tying up those loose ends, letting it go. You're going to feel so much better once you do. But you got to let yourself go through that tough part facing the uncomfortable feelings, facing that person, that situation, having that conversation. Not easy, but it's gonna be so good for you in the long run. The Wind Fairy, thoughts, words, intellectual analysis. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is you just getting really clear on what you need to do. Because that's how you're learning your lessons, how you're getting out of this bad place. It's using your mind, analyzing where you've been, and using that to understand how to move forward, where to move forward, in what way to move forward. Going to go with Osho Zen, the deck that tells it like it is. I mean, they all kind of do. Celebration. In this moment, this is speaking to me of the difference between overindulging, hanging out with the people that don't actually feel so good, that leave you feeling like wanting more, or doing the things that feel good in the moment, but later on it's like you're left feeling empty. And this is, it's turning that around, making those decisions that are right for you, enjoying what's going on, what you're facing in the moment. That yes, we all face hardships in life, and you're just like, okay, kind of sucks right now, but I'm going to make the most of it. And kind of joining with other people of like mind, where you can just let go of the need to be right, to hold on to what isn't good for you anymore. And that this could also speak to that once you do let go, once you do tie up those loose ends, it frees up your energy. I think you're going to experience this like renewed sense of happiness, playfulness, excitement for the future, for what's to come. Patience. This also is a card of making decisions, of being at a crossroads. Landed right on top of this. It's going to take you a minute to tie up the loose ends, to wrap your brain around what all has happened. What was your part in it? How can you move forward in a way that serves you? That you're closing out a cycle. She's pregnant here. You're closing out the cycle, and there will come a time when it's time to begin a new cycle. And you'll know this intuitively. And you're potentially at this moment, you're delaying this, but you can't keep the baby inside forever. Eventually it has to come out. It's going to come out whether you want it to or not. The cycle of the moon keeps changing. And it could be the kind of situation where if you don't take the steps you need to in order to tie up loose ends, to let go, the universe is going to force it. And that can often be much more uncomfortable, much more jarring. It can happen in a way that is not so fun. And I think right now you have the ability to take control of the situation and do it on your terms. Yay, Deborah Gale. Hello. Oh my God, that's awesome. I'm glad you like the title. This is really good reading. The dream. Yeah, I think this is about you getting to that place where you were thinking that this past situation that you're leaving behind was going to fulfill you somehow. And you are coming to the understanding that actually only you can fulfill yourself. That there's no knight in shining armor coming to save the day. I said this in another reading a while back, but it's Harry Potter, where he thought his dad was, spoiler alert, by the way, he thought his dad was the one coming to save the day. It turns out it was him. So this is understanding that it's all within your power to make your life the way you want it, through letting go, through tying up the loose ends, through standing in your power and setting those healthy boundaries, claiming your independence, because that's how you can come together with someone else in a healthy way. That's where you go from codependence to interdependence, because you know how awesome you are, you know how to love yourself, and then you come together with others, and it doesn't matter how they feel, how they show up. And if they want to show up and collaborate, awesome, all the better. But if they don't, it doesn't faze you, because you're able to stand on your own. So, I like it. I like it. It's very good. Let me look at the rune cards. Movement. Yeah, it's time to move. It's time to move through all the stuff that you've been dealing with. Wherever you've been stagnating because you've been trying to avoid closing something out, tying up the loose ends. It's time to get on your ship. This looks this is like a fire sign emblem on here in a way. It's got the fire colors. This is very much a theme of taking your power back. Flow. Yeah, this is a part of letting go. Getting into the flow. What do we have going on here? Something growing up out of the sand. We've got the plant coming up. Something new flowering because you're getting into the flow. Something new flowering. And we have the similar colors here as well. Getting into the flow, into your life. Balance is putting you in this place of moving forward, living your best life, knowing that you have the power to do that. And it's leading you. This is this gateway. This is you taking the new path. We have this again. We have the same colors here. You're tripping me out as I clean my little sailboat to pack away, readying to move houses. Wow. That's really cool. I love how these readings have really been what's the word? Resonating with you. Particularly, you've been mentioning that a lot. It's great. But yeah, this is you going on that new path, knowing that you're going to go through a gateway to this new beginning. to something that's so much more fulfilling than where you've been. There's so much light. It's so bright and shiny, and like, the sun it's the warmth, it's the happiness, it's where the growth can happen. Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for you. Moving can be challenging. Packing up can be challenging. But I mean, knowing what you're moving towards, knowing you're going to get to the other side and look back and be like, okay, the difficult part's over. And now, here's this new journey in front of me. And how exciting is that? Okay, so yay. That's nice when it's not a problem. When you're able to let go relatively easily. That's where this reading started. There's this sense, for some fire signs at least, of not wanting to let go. Kind of self-medicating, doing the things that indulging in the immediate gratifications that kind of keep you from having to face the inevitable. So it's great that you're kind of, you're not dealing with that, or if you have, you're past it. So let's look at the Spirit Animal Oracle. Ooh, Spider Spirit, make your dreams real. Yeah. Move towards your dreams. Understand that what you're leaving behind, there may be a part of you. Oh, so much clearing. That's good. There may be a part of you that thought what you're leaving behind was your dream. And maybe at one time it was your dream. But then, our dreams change. As we grow, what we want in life changes. And so this is about embracing the new dream and making it real. I know, I love this card. I love the colors. I happen to be a fan of spiders. I think they're really cool creatures. But yeah, making your dreams real. It's all in your hands. Bobcat Spirit, life is a mystery. Yes, it is. We don't know what's beyond that gateway. We're required to take steps on the path to get there, and then we will find out. It is a great mystery. And oftentimes it's so much better than we expect. And even if it's not, there's still a lesson in it. We still gain something. We still learn on this path. And it allows us to course correct to what will make us happy. But I think in this case, this is something this mystery is going to be really amazing, really fulfilling. Koi fish spirit, there is always enough. This lands on the pile with budget lessons. Learning how to care for yourself financially, how to see the long view, you're learning how to care for your future self. And ultimately there's this a fundamental changing of your idea of wealth and prosperity and abundance. That one reader I follow, she talks about this erroneous idea of there being a pie. If I take some of the pie, then there's less for everyone else. And that's absolutely not true. There is more than enough for everybody. There is not a pie. It's the never-ending flow. There's always enough. And it's you claiming your power, getting into the flow, moving towards your desires and what you want, that allows in all the abundance that is rightfully yours. There's always a surplus when you open your valve and allow it in. And it's only us that create the limitations, that close off our valve. So, the abundance wants to come in, but there's no opening for it. So yeah, you changing your mindset to something that works in your favor. It's beautiful. This is a big transformative change in yourself, in your life. You're going to feel so much better. And maybe you already are, which is awesome. I'm excited for you on this journey. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I really appreciate you being here. And I wish you well on this journey. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and night and tomorrow, wherever you are in the world. And I will see you on the next video. Mwah. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe.